You went to the road place.
Now that Joe has arrived, I call the meeting to order. It is now 6:36, and in attendance here in the room we have Myrna and Joe Fogno and myself, and joining us via Zoom is Joan Camlin, Peter Bigelow, and Todd McClutchy. And we're off and running. I apologize for not having been at the last couple of meetings. My life is a lot of things, but it's not boring. We have minutes from the meeting of May of this year. Hearing no objections, the minutes are accepted as submitted. Hearing none, so ordered. Myrna, what do you got for us?
Manager's report, summer stuff. We finished some of the dry vent over at the Royal. We are beginning to do power washing and dry vents and garbage bins. We are beginning to clean all those bins out in the garbage enclosures over at the Heights. We might do this ones over here too, the two that we have. Not much going on, we're just, moving along. We adding some bike racks to the Heights. It's become a big necessity for a lot of bikes that we have, so that's what we're working on. It pretty much just maintaining normally routines and most important summer routines. That's it.
Comments, questions? All right, I gotta make a comment here. Myrna makes it all sound very easy. She makes it sound like there's nothing going on. Trust me, every day. And it's people who just don't get it. Number one, they don't understand this is independent living. This is not assisted living. Ergo, there's not somebody at your beck and call 24/7 to deal with whatever you think that they ought to be dealing with. It doesn't work that way. I know all you folks on the board understand this, but we are going out on Channel 79. I want to make sure the people who are tuned in understand what's going on here. The vast majority of our residents are not only content to be here, but happy to be either here at the Royal or up at the Heights. It's a very small number of residents who constantly go after Myrna for the same problems over and over and over again. And Myrna just cruises on through, deals with them, makes them understand why it's an issue, and we keep moving along. Myrna, I want to personally thank you very much, because I know it's not anywhere near as easy as your report makes it sound.
You're welcome, though, anytime.
And it will continue to get more intense as summer goes on.
Oh yeah.
It'll quiet down.
We all agree. We all agree.
It is what it is, and it's a shame it has to be that way, but that's the way it is. All right, moving right along. Old business, the meeting schedule. Is there an issue with the meeting schedule?
We were gonna determine whether we are gonna, change it to quarterly. Something you guys were talking about. Peter
Anybody
said
got any comments? What do we think we ought to do? Should we?
I'm sure if we have anything pertinent needs to come up, we can always call a meeting.
We can call a meeting if we have to.
Yeah, Peter said we will hold off till you come back. I don't know if you remember, Peter.
Are we all in agreement that we will not have a meeting in August?
Yes.
If the August schedule,
Correct.
that's always an only if needed would we have a meeting. So
Right.
we're on agreement. The August meeting is officially not going to take place. All right. We were talking last year, and we talked at the beginning of this year, about having alternating meetings so that meetings were open to the public sometimes and meetings were just for the committee sometimes. We never really got into that pattern this year, but I think sometime in the fall we should talk seriously about that and address next year's schedule so that we definitively schedule which meetings will be commission only
And which
versus
meetings
which
will
meetings
it?
will be open. All meetings are open to the public. What we will do for commission-only meetings is not take comments from the public. We will only take comments on the meetings that are
Correct.
scheduled for public comment.
We
Okay.
haven't had public presence for almost 4 meetings now.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say, I wish all you members of the public would just keep it down a little bit. For those of you who can't see the rest of the room, there is nobody here but us.
Yes.
It's us and the guy from the TV station. Nobody else is here. Okay, we talked about bike racks. We're gonna get some more bike racks from.
Yeah, we've been beginning to add bike racks to the property, Joe.
Actually, which I think is a good idea, making a large pad with a large set of bike racks where all can fit.
That's fine.
So landscapers can work and,
Yeah, we began to add a few of them. We already built 3 of them. To start testing it out, and they're coming along pretty well. Like, it's a big necessity, especially with the amount of children at the
yeah,
heights.
it makes sense.
We've not had any requests for.
Any
bike
need
racks
for
or-
something similar to that at the Royal? I mean, not a big one, but are there some people who are living at the Royal who would like to have?
I was
I
just-
haven't-
racks they can-
I
You're just
haven't,
saying we haven't had any
I
comments.
haven't have any comments for bike
No
racks,
requests
the
for bike
request
rack.
here.
Okay,
I mean, I think it's, at the heights is the amount of children we have, it's more like a necessity at the heights, but if it becomes a necessity here, we're more than happy to look into it, but so far, we haven't got that request.
No,
okay, just wanted to ask, make
Yeah.
sure.
fortunately, none of our residents are acting like children, so we're doing fine here at the Royal.
Unless we see Joe riding bikes, then we might have to add it to the Royal too.
Yeah, I don't think that we,
I haven't
we've not
seen
had a
any.
request, and until we get a request, we'll keep it in abeyance.
Oh, she's on Zoom.
Yes.
Okay, new business. Peter, you have something that
Yes.
would come up as new
We were-
business.
I'd like to move this banking thing along in something more of a glacial pace, but I think we're gonna need to have a vote to authorize opening a new account at First County Bank, or at a bank, depends on how you want to phrase it. And it should be probably in the minutes, so if we are asked at time of opening an account, if we're duly authorized to do so, we can show that we are. And I think also, we need to do that, and then we could open an account and begin the process of getting CDs and getting the funds shifted around as we had discussed in previous meetings to make sure that all the funds are protected by the FDIC insurance should something happen to any of the banks we're in, and also to take advantage of the attractive CD rates which are currently available at a number of banks, including First County Bank, which is one we want to open with, and as well as the Darien Bank, where we currently have some money. So I guess I'd like to have a vote and have it in the form, have it in minutes. So going forward, we have documented this appropriately, and we can get this thing going.
Well, in that case, I think the simplest thing to do, Peter, is to have the chair will accept a motion from somebody allowing the treasurer and the chair to further investigate the opening of additional bank accounts for both either direct deposits or CDs at any of several banks here in Darien that are capable of giving us appropriate interest rates and giving us appropriate access to the funds when and if we need them. The effort being directed toward making sure that all of our funds are covered by FDIC by distributing them appropriately. Do I hear such a motion?
I would add to that we're authorized to open those accounts.
Yes.
By accounting,
Yeah, the
Our
two
accounting.
necessary people to open the account would be the treasurer, Peter Bigelow, and myself. If
Imagineers accounting.
if we need to determine, after we decide to open the account, if we need additional signatures, we'll come back to the commission and look for additional signatures. And that's how we would include Imagineers. But first, let's determine what banks we're gonna open them in and what is actually required at each individual bank. But we're asking, the motion is asking the commission to allow Peter and I to pursue this to its logical conclusion. Do I hear such a motion?
Yeah.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. All in favor? Aye.
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 That's passed unanimously. Peter, give me a call at your convenience. We'll do whatever we have to do.
Okay, then the next, this is more of a question, and I believe probably Myrna's the one I have to ask this of. To open the account, you need something called money. Can we write a check out of the DHA account so we are able to at least open an account? We may end up doing a wire or ACH payment in later, but on day one we have to be able to have a check in hand so we can start an account. Is that something, do you have the access to doing that, or do we have to go to Imagineers up in Hartford and have them
So
give us a check?
once you guys made the decision which bank you guys want to go, we can follow up with accounting. If it's a wire account, then we'll be able to do it directly from accounting. We'll be able to do it through the bank. If it has to be a check, they can overnight me a check and I can have it at the office and I can go with you when we decide which bank. So whichever options you go for, I will be able to help you.
We will need a check to open an account, and it doesn't have to be a large check, it could be $1,000, but we're gonna need something to open an account.
Okay.
Once we have an account and we have the instructions to fund it through ACH or through a wire, then we can, we can properly fund it. But I know on day one we'll need to have some monies, if you will, to open the account.
Okay, yeah, I can communicate with accounting and they can overnight me a check and I will be
Okay.
instructing once I
Okay,
receive it.
so just so I understand the process.
Peter, the worst that can happen is it takes 24 hours. We find a bank, make all the arrangements with that bank. I come back, tell Myrna, she calls Imagineers, they cut her a check and
Overnight it.
overnight it
Mhm.
to us. So the 24 hours is the
Because
worst that
we're
could
gonna
do.
need, the way I see this, Joe, you'll now need to go and fill out some paperwork.
Yes.
So it's ready to go, and then I think we would need to get the funds and go and
Yeah.
execute, if you will, opening the account. I just wanna make sure that everyone's in sync on what we're doing, because we're also going to want to get some additional funds into the Darien Bank to take advantage of the CD rates there. We only have, I believe, $43,000 in that bank, and we have a lot more in the Pacific Bank, and I just would like to spread it around and make sure we're getting the maximum amount we can as far as income, and do it as soon as we reasonably can so we can take advantage of these rates.
No problem.
So I'm hoping we can get this whole thing accomplished during the month of July and be able to report back that we have, we have established somewhere along the lines of the plan I outlined, and then are able to, add signers on and so on.
I'm not planning on going anywhere if the gods are kind and the creek don't rise. I'm available anytime.
Okay. And then Todd, I have a question for you, and I just want to know, suppose there was a distribution of some amount, a little bit I believe has come in already, and is there a timeline for that, or just so we have some idea of if we should, a timeline? Enough said.
Yeah, I think it should be immediately, so I would say within the next 2 weeks.
Okay, if you could, I'll say offline, send an email to the board just with a rough estimate saying it looks like it's going to be the week of whatever. I just want to get some general idea, and then the range of how much that distribution might be. I don't need to have the sense, just need to have some idea of what we're dealing with. So then we can again look at CDs and how we're going to distribute everything so that we're maximizing some income. And we also are going to make sure we do keep ample cash readily available for operating purposes, so that we're well funded for doing the maintenance and all the typical things that we've been doing for years. Have a little bit of a reserve as well ready cash and then put a prudent amount into investments that are guaranteed.
Any comments, questions? Done. Peter,
Yeah.
call me offline, we'll get right on it. We'll figure out how quickly we can make all this stuff happen.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Do we have anything else? Not all at once, but one at a time, comments from the... I'm being facetious, there's nobody here. I'm assuming that's a clear indication we do not have any reports from either the Royal or the Heights.
You have anything, Joe?
Joe, you aware of anything?
No, it's been quiet.
That being said, do we have anything for executive session?
No. Did we only had the accounts, which.
Yep. All right, in that case, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion second.
So moved.
Don't move.
All in favor? Thank you for your time. Joan, thank you.
Thank you,
Peter,
guys.
thank you very much.
Thank
Todd,
you.
thank you for your time.